Hello friends, Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Dots of Destiny. Today's video is about the transit of Venus and Rahu in Pisces the whole month of February also. So I'll go through all the ascendants over here. But let me talk a little bit about the exchange of Venus and Jupiter that many people have requested to talk for. These two planets are very talked about because it is both a benefit, no doubt. In its own way, Venus and Jupiter both gives us quite beneficial results in its transit, dasha, antardasha. But understanding Venus is quite complicated. Jupiter is rather easy from my point of view. Jupiter is a vastness of knowledge, the looking beyond the ordinary, the looking beyond the things that we always crave and want to achieve, because knowledge frees us from many things that we desire, because the 12th house of Pisces is that's why Jupiter has the 9th and the 12th house, as we know in the Kalpurush Kundli. 9th is the dharma, the knowing that for what is your dharma in this life. That knowledge is very important, and that's why Sagittarius is a very big fiery sign, getting you to know the knowledge, because unless you don't have a fire within, we don't crave for that knowledge. Now when we reach towards Pisces, after doing the karma of Capricorn and Aquarius and all this, Pisces is abandonment. Now abandonment is taken always in a very negative way, but I feel in life, peace, abandonment, a little staying alone, solitude, all these things are very important in knowing self, and that is the knowledge of Jupiter in Pisces. Here the flavor of Pisces is very different. As we know, it is very bhakti oriented, very selfless thing, and what you give, it comes back to you in time. But the thing is that when planets like Rahu, Saturn, they enter into Pisces, both the planets are dark planets. Rahu is also dark. Saturn, as it enters, it does not give you the knowledge in the 12th house, which is very important. 12th house is darkness, no doubt. And when you shut your eyes, you sit in meditation, meditative state of existence is Pisces. Now when Venus is there, Venus is a very knowledgeable, Shukracharya is very knowledgeable, but the knowledge is not like a Jupiterian knowledge. The knowledge that is diplomatic, the things that it is, because it is a Rajasic planet, right? So Venusian knowledge is about the kind of knowledge you get into this world to achieve something, achievement oriented. And this Venus, it gets exalted in Pisces as it understands here only trust and bhakti counts. So Venus is in that way a very classy planet. It excels in the sign of enemy and debilitates in the sign of Virgo, its own friend. Now the problem over here is that Rahu is already sitting over there, creating a lot of maya and a lot of brain churning and lot of over the top ideas, because Pisces is your dream also, dreaming about things. Now Venus comes in with Rahu over here. The conjunction of Venus Rahu, personally, if you ask me, I do not prefer it too much, because the reason is that the good effects, if the Lagna is strong, the Sun, Moon, the illuminaries are very strong, then the good effect is that it can be very diplomatically a good conjunction, Venus Rahu, which can fetch you things in your own, presence of mind, or the how you put your mind to the world. It gets you things because of that. So here Venus Rahu kind of acts like Swati. Swati Nakshatra is the diplomatic sign of Rahu, and it is a Rahu Nakshatra which I like actually, because if you have to stay in this world, Swati is, that's why a businessman kind of nakshatra, and this combination of Venus Rahu in Pisces is exactly having the kind of flavor of Swati. But the problem of Venus and Rahu in Pisces is that when it goes into different areas of your horoscope, which house it is having, Pisces. Suppose it's the 8th house, it's not good. We don't want a Venus Rahu in the 8th house, 12th house. We don't want that, because these kind of, Venus is also our lust and desire, and Rahu will always put it to a different level. Now, what can Jupiter along sit and do in Taurus? Rahu-ish tendencies, the demons, they exert their power more. Obviously, the gods are gods, but you'll see the malefics, they act in a very fast way. Benefics take a little time. That's how I see this transit. Though Jupiter is now going to be in a good condition from 4th of February going direct. That is good. It is going direct, and wherever it is situated, maybe it will give you the last leg of results. Hopefully, it will be good, because I think the Jupiter transit in Taurus has been very much hyped. And that's why constantly I have been getting people coming up with problem, but because they expected a lot from this transit. Same will happen with Jupiter and Gemini. Whenever there is a Jupiter transit, the hype is so much that already the expectations are set to a 200% level. Now, when you get 100% also, it's not satisfactory enough. Please, one thing I want to tell all the viewers who are watching me, if they feel I make some sense, don't hype the Jupiterian transit. It's a teacher, it's a guru, it's a rectifier, it's knowledge. It gives you the goodness, but it cannot give you to the extent. That's why malefics are important. They push you to that level. They do. But then whether you get satisfaction or not, up to that, whether getting a lifetime achievement also you're satisfied or not, that is not that is not the perspective of malefics. They don't give you satisfaction in any whatsoever way. Now, here what I was talking about, the Venus Rahu combination is a combination which I am not very fond of. Why? Because it gives in different way I want to reach my goal. First thing is that this kind of combination. Now, in houses which are not very good, they can create a very malefic environment, and you all know that in these kind of a transits, the lust, the desire, the unlimited attitude of Rahu gets exaggerated when it finds a classy friend like Venus with it. All the classiness of Venus are exaggerated. Now, relationship troubles also there. You get into a relationship, it does not last. Maybe it lasts for 5 months, 6 months, and then you don't know, again you have a pain. And all these things are part of Venus Rahu. Tread with caution. The ultimate thing is that if it is giving result, think with your brain. If it is given in a result like Swati, like you can negotiate, diplomatic, creating a business, overseas business, all these things, it's good. Working good for you. Don't go into excessiveness, because these kind of combinations, they make you the slave of the desires, and that person never gets satisfied. If you have in your horoscope, you may also look into it. I have seen Venus Rahu combination people going to their greatest of potential, not satisfied, they falter, and they then fall like the nose beating the dust. It is that kind of a combination. This is what I have found out. It's not easy to handle with Venus Rahu. Deal with caution. So this transit, I will speak about all the ascendants, how it is panning out for each of us, and let's see. I'll point out the things that needs to be done, and if it is at all good or not good, because this is the February month which I'm just talking about. Venus is direct. It will go retrograde from 2nd of March, and then obviously Mercury enters there. Mercury, Venus, Rahu, March month. Then Saturn enters there. So lot of conditions for this transit. This is what just the February month is telling. So let's jump into the ascendants. For Aries ascendants, this conjunction of Venus Rahu is happening in the 12th house. You know that. Now, this conjunction in the 12th house, I cannot call it good. Though Jupiter in the 2nd house in Taurus is in a good condition now, going direct. Saturn will have the last leg in the 11th house. Mars is in the 3rd house. Your Lagna Lord now, at least till 2nd of April, situation is not that bad. Third house Mars can create problem with neighbors, but otherwise it gives you the gusto and the things to go ahead. But this 12th house combination is not good with the partner. If you are running through a marriage, it can get more disturbed. If you are in a disturbing condition, please don't take things literally. The planets always give the most result, highly effective result, when they are running a pratyanta dasha and a antardasha in transit. Now, if you have that kind of a combination already in the 12th house existing in your horoscope, Aries ascendant, it's not a good conjunction. You can go to any extent for getting your desires fulfilled, and all kind of lust and materialistic desires. Now, your partner can also be like that. So here, if you go to a foreign land also, and for some work or something or the other, or from luxury, you can spend more money than actually required. So this, because it is the second lord going into the 12th house in exaltation, maybe you will go for, it's a simple thing. See, if you go for a materialistic the point of view, you go to some other place and you want to just indulge in it, and this indulgence can cost you much. So because Mars is there in the third house, and Aries people, as I know, they're always gearing up to go. If you have a dasha dasha of Venus, Rahu, Saturn, Venus, something or the other planets, Mercury or whatever, then you listening to the transit video is that you take a minimum level of consideration that these kind of conjunctions, I do not call it very good, unless and until sometimes in the 10th house or in the 6th house they give a new kind of diplomacy. That's a different thing, but here it is your 12th house. So be a little cautious. Your partner may not give you the kind of results you want from him or her. It can happen because Rahu creates a lot of Maya in the mind of the person, and in most of the factors it is not a very desirable combination and transit, and you have to be extra careful at this. Venus will go retrograde in the month of March, and Mercury will join, which is the 6th and the 3rd lord for you, and then Saturn. So from here only, if you are, again and again I'm saying this, why, if you have a dasha, pratyanta dasha, then be very cautious of what you're spending, what kind of relationship you are going into, what kind of money investment you're going, your health, all these things comes into perspective. So take care. Taurus ascendant, 11th house, Lagna lord into the 11th house with Rahu. See, this is a good combination actually, Taurus. So because Rahu and Venus in the 11th house, they give desires, no doubt about it. Now, you can get for a desire fulfillment also if you're running that kind of a dasha on any 11th house dasha, or if it is transiting over any planet sitting in your 11th house also, you can get good results from this transit. Now, the thing is that the catch over here is that Rahu becomes so confident with Venus, because Venus is knowledge, Shukracharya, it has the knowledge. Rahu is a trickstar in itself, it likes Venus, both are friends. Now you can get into, suppose you want a thing for very long, and now by hook and crook I have to get into the boil down to it. These kind of combinations, they do that, and I have seen that personally. Venus Rahu, if it is in the natal chart in the 11th house, they do make such kind of little bit, in some way or the other, I'll be able to get my dreams or desire fulfilled. So don't do that. Why I'm telling is that as Saturn joins, then that will be another problem, because Rahu Venus can be a really good one in the 11th house, this transit in the month of February. Your Lagna Lord, right? So it can give you a lot of boost with this transit. But as Saturn comes by the end of March, then it can again bring the reality check into your life in the 11th house matters. That is how Saturn is known for. But this February month, this transit is good actually, though I do not personally like a Venus-Rahu combination due to many things, only barring the diplomacy part of it. Venus-Rahu, I have said in the previous part of this video also, it acts like the Swati Nakshatra. It is a very good nakshatra of Rahu. Apart from that, it gives a very materialistic outer and fulfilled with lust, and the person becomes slave of its own desires. So don't go towards that path. Go towards a path, if you have the opportunities, grasp it, be steady. Saturn is still in the 10th, and if you are gearing up for your some change within yourself, doing certain things, going for a job change, going for some material this thing, all this. But here education can get hampered, as Venus is aspecting the Ketu in the 5th house, niche aspect, and also love relationships can take a bitter turn if you're running a Ketu, Venus or Mercury or something like that, Dashantar Dasha. So 5th house effect is not very good over here, because Venus is aspecting the 5th house with niche aspect, and Ketu is also sitting over there. Otherwise, this 11th house transit is a good transit for you. Gemini ascendants, Gemini, it's a 10th house and it's a good transit. 10th house Venus Rahu, apart from the male people, those who are male and they're watching my videos, men should be very cautious with the women out there. You're working in your professional life, you can get a bad name from them if you are having a Venus or Rahu or some kind of Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha arrangement governing at this point in your horoscope. And if you know that such certain things has already occurred in your surrounding in the professional area, which can mar your growth, you should be very, very careful as I'm saying this statement to you. Otherwise, Venus Rahu is a good arrangement in the 10th house. Venus alone I don't feel very good in the 10th house, but with Rahu it is a good thing, because Rahu gives that touch to the Venus which is required for the competitiveness of the 10th house matters. You can look out for this, a 5th lord, right? 5th lord going into the your 12th lord, also 5th lord going into the 10th house. It is though it is 8th from itself, but still it is a good 6th from itself, but still some conflicts. Obviously Rahu and Venus gives some kind of controversy. Conflicts, I'll not say it's controversial a little bit, but it gives the diplomacy to deal with that controversy in the 10th house. So enjoy this transit with if you are desiring for something in the professional front, some kind of things that can little bit put you into the better edge. It can really happen in the month of February. Mercury will join this. Your Lagna Lord is now in the 9th house, making you more ambitious with the Aquarius Mercury. But it will come. Mercury is now in Capricorn. It will come to Aquarius, and then it will come into the by the second week of March. It will come into Pisces, or the 3rd week of March. So this arrangement will be beneficial for you. All the focus is obviously in the 10th house. The 4th house can get a little marred. The home front is not very favored at this point of time, because Ketu is already there and Venus is aspecting the niche drishti in your 4th house. 4th house, any issues with your mother's health, your family environment, your property, you're dealing with people at home, anything can go sudden, wrong, or sudden. It can give a glitch to your happiness, I can say in that way. So anyway, handle it. The 4th house needs to be handled carefully. 10th house also needs to be handled carefully, but still it is much in a better condition with Venus Rahu over there. So go for this transit. It's a good one for you. Cancer ascendants, this is happening in the 9th house, the 4th lord. The 4th lord and the 11th lord going into the 9th house can give you sudden gains also with Venus Rahu over there. Now, home front may not be very good. If you are looking for a property outside the homeland you want to buy, you can do that at this point of time. It can happen. It can, because 6th lord Jupiter is now going direct in the 11th house. It will give you loans also if you want. But Mars condition is not good again, your Yogakarak planet. So see, there is, with this Venus Rahu governing position in your horoscope, can aid you in some way with your Bhagya Dasha. But then Rahu and Venus combination in the 9th, what I've seen is that creates a kind of not Bhagya Bhang. You feel a little distasteful towards a higher beliefs, religion and all these things. These are not very religiously or spiritually enlightened transit, right? Neither Venus nor Rahu. Sign is Pisces. That's why this combination, because it is seemingly it is looking like Venus is exalted, Jupiter is in Venusian sign, we'll get a good result, 9th and 11th house. So it is good. But understand that Rahu is a very high factor over here. And Rahu Venus combination is very materialistic, very, very lustful, and it makes the person the slave of its own desire. So if you get a better result from this transit also, still also it may feel to you that it's not enough. That kind of a transit, that is a problem. The expectation may not live up to the kind of things that happen in the ground level. But still, if you're going from foreign destination, if you're looking out for colleges and places to get entry into, this can help you, this transit. And yeah, obviously Venus will go retrograde in the month of March, and Mercury will also join. So a little bit of disturbance is definitely seen in the month of March, and April again it all will go direct, and then finally May, June you will be able to proceed with the thing, especially if you have a Venus running dasha at this point of time. Especially, it is a very critical transit of Venus. All of you who are running a Venus Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, has to be, you cannot panic at this moment. You have to go with the flow, understanding that Venus Rahu combination is not an easy combination. It looks materialistically very nice. But it is a combination that needs to be handled by our own understanding of it. That is very important. This is what I've seen. Any horoscope having Venus Rahu, Rahu Mars combination, these are certain things I look out. Saturn Venus also, these combinations are very having, and Jupiter Venus. Venus is a factor which is very much misunderstood. So be very careful with the transit. It can give you some definitely it will give you some good results you will get from this transit. But then with that good result, what you again fetch from there, you have to be a little subdued in your attitude. Rahu pushes you too much. Third house, if you have some problems with your, third house, the aspect of Venus is okay. It's a debilitated aspect, but Ketu is there. Decisions should be very, very cautiously taken. Third house is your movement, your decision, your neighbors, your relationship with brothers. All these things should be taken very carefully, very, very carefully. So otherwise, it's a okay transit for you. Leo ascendant, 8th house, Venus and Rahu, I cannot say it good in any way, because Saturn is still looking into ascendant, Sun is in the 6th house, then it will come and join Saturn. First and foremost, Mars is in a good position, and Jupiter is in a good position. So your 10th and 11th house is saved. What is not saved is your health. And if you are too much materialistic and lusty in your ways of life, you will face a big problem with Venus Rahu over here. So certain affairs can start, and then Saturn comes and leaves you nothing with it, and also your health is damaged in the process. So take this combination very seriously, because I have been seeing that Leo ascendant suddenly, because the transits are like that. 10th Jupiter, 11th Mars can give you good results. Actually, they give good results, and especially as Jupiter is going direct now. And this is just February, March, April. Now May month 15, Jupiter will be out of it in the 11th house. So be very careful what you are heading towards, what you're doing. Don't start any unnecessarily relationships at this point of time, because I know you may be tired with Sun being in the 6th house, Saturn aspecting the Lagna. Some health problems can creep up. Keep a close watch on them, and don't take decisions suddenly. The Ketu being in the 2nd house, Venus is aspecting the Nietzsche aspect in the 2nd house. It can bring wealth. Mars is also in the 11th. Again, wealth will be spent also too much, because it's a Nietzsche aspect of Venus, right? Materialistically, you can move forward, and then again, you may feel that again it is getting empty, my bank balance or whatever. So it's a 50-50 transit, in the sense the Venus Rahu combination is not good in the 8th house. I don't like that combination, to be true, but overall, the February horoscope is a 50-50, as the 10th and 11th house has good planets in it. Your good planets, Jupiter and Mars. So go understanding the 8th house, knowing that the 8th house is deathly, it can give deathly blows to your personality, your character, your unnecessary materialistic lust or whatever. If you're going for an investment, be very cautious. 2nd house is aspected by Neecha Venus. With all these factors taken into consideration, take a decision. Virgo ascendants, it is happening in your 7th house. Now, 7th house Venus Rahu combination is not very good for the partner's point of view. Now, I don't say that your partner will ditch you immediately. No, those conditions should be there in the horoscope. The transit will only propel the result, but your partner can have some health issues also. You can also feel some health issues. You can feel suddenly very emotional, as the Neecha aspect of Venus will be on your Lagna, Ketu being there. And because Mercury is now in Capricorn, then it will reach your 6th house, and then it will reach your 7th house. And if you are, all this 7th house transit of Venus Rahu, only goodness, if you call me, is that you can go for a diplomatically approaching your business things. If you want to spread it overseas, you're looking for online or certain things, you can do that. But be very understanding that Ketu is on the Lagna. Try to mitigate the factors very properly, because what you're doing, what you're thinking, and what will be the result, that should be kept in mind, because Ketu sometimes gives very unrealistic ideas and the over-the-top ideas, and here Rahu Venus will create a very emotional situation. Any kind of relationship also you can expect too much, whether physical desires, where materialistic desires, it is that kind of a transit. It is that. Here the effect of Venus getting exalted is marred. One has to understand that with the presence of Rahu. That is the most crucial part of this transit. Rahu no way understands Pisces. It's a churning fact. I mean, Pisces is to a different level understanding of spiritual realms. And what is Rahu going to do? It will only give you deep desires, high thinking, dream, and now Venus comes into it along with it. And so that is why you have to understand this transit. Don't get too emotional. If you are feeling some things you want to go and derive in a partnership, whether business or whether marriage also, be careful. Marriage can happen at this point of time. It can happen. And so all these factors you have to take into consideration and then go ahead with it, because it is your 9th lord coming. The 9th lord is coming in the 7th house. So that is also a thing that with Bhagya Bharose, do not do too much, because it is your Virgo ascendant 2nd lord and 9th lord. So be very careful that just in case of, if you're thinking that with your fortune you will be able to make monetary decisions and you go with it and you get profit out of it, this can be it's detrimental actually. So your decisions can cloud your mind, because Venus will have a Neecha Drishti on your Lagna, Ketu being there. So be careful with your health also, because Rahu Venus in the stomach related area can create some disturbances with your partner if your relationship is not good enough, if you know about it. And every relationship need not go through that. And especially if you have a governing position of Rahu Venus now in your dasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, you should be very careful with partnership, with business, with money, and just in with the help of your thinking that it will be fortunate enough, don't take decisions and do not jump into conclusions. Libra ascendants, it is in the 6th house. Now 6th house Pisces will always put you into because Venus, though exalted, actually gets debilitated in the area of the 6th house. Now here suddenly, because Lagna Lord is coming into the this house, 6th house, you'll get very optimistic, because Rahu also works very good in the 6th house. And here in the Rahu Venus combination can make a person a go-getter in the field of the the daily job, professional, all these things. And you can think like that definitely, because Jupiter is in the 8th now. So see, it looks that It is an exchange of Jupiter Venus in the 6th and the 8th. And but this kind of combinations, they can, if you take a sudden decision on the spur of a moment, leaving a job, quitting something, going into something else, it can give you sudden problems, because this Venus will also go retrograde, will be conjunct with Saturn. Rahu will go out and go into the 5th house now. So Libra ascendants, it is just an okay transit for you. Understand that it will create a lot of illusions in your mind regarding the 6th area. If you're already in some kind of a dispute, then that can give you the edge over others, and you may be able to find out a way, because usually 6th Rahu Venus, I have seen people are very they are very diplomatic, and I mean diplomatic in the sense they are crafty enough to understand how to find the path out of the situation that they are in, if they are at all in a messy situation. Loan, if you want to take, you have to be very careful. Even your health, you should be very careful, because a lot of planets will come into the 6th house area in no time now, within 3 months. So I cannot rate it as a great transit, but yes, in the official front, some changes I think will become inevitable, because you will feel like that, as Mars is now in your in month of February, it's in the 9th house. Again, it will go into the 10th house in the month of April. So some changes in your official area, in your work related area, is inevitable. Take care of your health. Don't jump into things, or don't think too much high about it, about your professional front, about yourself, your dreams, because Rahu, this is the Maya of Rahu. You have to understand that. See, that's why I have told before this video, as I started the ascendants, please go through that. Venus Rahu combination, people, I don't know why they hype it too much. I am not very fond of this combination. And in different horoscopes, I have seen it has given success, but it has landed people into too much of trouble also. And it's better we understand what kind of a transit it is before we hit our nose on the dust. So be cautious, take care of your health, be optimistic in taking loans, but understand that that loan can be very difficult to pay off when Saturn later comes into the 6th house. So investments also, because it is your 8th lord and Jupiter being there, you can suddenly feel that yes, I can go for all these things. And also because the Lagna lord in the 6th house surrounded by Rahu, you can have people who can make false promises or can give false allegations, especially the male counterpart can get false allegation from the female parts. So be understand, go with caution, understand this transit. This is very important. It's not a very easy and all benevolent transit. Now Scorpio, this is happening in your 5th house. The 7th lord going into the 5th house conjunct with Rahu can definitely, and 7th house Jupiter can suddenly make some relationship coming crashing over you, and also you can get into marriage with that. The intensity of Rahu Venus in the 5th house is that much. Sign is Pisces. It is dreaminess. It is you are already in your dreams with that kind of a thing. Now Mars is in the 8th house. So I'm not telling all is bad about this transit. You can have certain good lucks also, because these two planets, especially Venus, will be aspecting the Ketu in the 11th house, and Ketu is there, and debilitated aspect of Venus gives money also. Monetarily it can be good. Your capability, intelligent or intellectual capability, negotiation capability, understanding things capability can be very fast and swift. But as far as relationship, love affairs, all these things are concerned, you have to understand and go with it. And don't, because if you're hearing this video, you know now, you can get into a very shallow kind of a relationship or a materialistic kind of a relationship, given that Venus and Rahu, they give lust and materialistic pursuits in a very high level. Though it is in Pisces, it looks Venus is exalted, Jupiter is in Taurus, but still Rahu, Mars, the transit along Venus would have been a really good transit. Understand the capabilities of Rahu. Rahu should never be underestimated. It takes you to a height, and you know what happens, then you beat the dust. So be very careful in your relationship front. Children or even the education sector, if you are a student or all, can suffer. These pockets can suffer a bit, but materialistically it can be a good transit, should be a good transit. Sagittarius, fourth house Venus Rahu. Rahu in the Venus Rahu fourth house with suppose Saturn and all, I think they give good politicians, and they grasp the limelight and of the public. But at home front, it's not a good transit. As much you do for your mother health can suffer. If you do too much also in the home front, it may go unnoticed or unappreciated, or it may feel less. Even you can also feel that this is not enough, I want to do more. This can happen with Venus Rahu in the fourth house. Now Venus, since it is your 6th lord and the 11th lord, 6th lord, and I don't like this Venus planet as far as Sagittarius ascendant is concerned, to be very frank, because Libra and Sagittarius both are Mool Trikon of respectively Venus and Jupiter. For Libra ascendant, Jupiter is not a very great planet, though it is benefic. Similarly, for Sagittarius, Venus is not a great planet, though. So keeping in mind, if you're running a Venus Dasha, Antardasha, it will be more prominent, right? So otherwise, it can give you a bare minimum result. But if you're running that kind of a Dasha, you have to be very thoughtful in your way you deal. You have to weigh in a diplomatic way, you have to deal even with your family members. If you're going to buy a property, sudden you put your money or your desires are so high with Rahu over there, look into the paperwork properly, because Mercury and Venus both will go retrograde in your fourth house. If you're taking a car also, all these decisions, whatever decisions, or you're shifting a house, whatever decisions you have to take in your fourth house matters, you have to be careful. And lot of money can flow towards your you can spend, or but still fourth house Rahu Venus is okay. It's 50-50 kind of a transit. Be careful. For Sagittarius ascendants, always I've seen this, Venus is not a very good planet to look out for, as so 6th and both Trisha, they are Lord, no? So look out for this transit, how it prepares you. But Jupiter is going direct. This is the last leg of Jupiter. So whole February month, and Mars is now in the 7th house. If you are having some tensions in your relationship, this can shoot it up. Venus and Rahu in the 4th. Be very careful if you are really want to a savior in your relationship area. Once Jupiter comes into the 7th house, it is a much better transit. But before that, still we have February, March, April month left. So take the transit in a very, not in a very easy way, what I'm trying to say, and then negotiate the process. Capricorn, 3rd house Jupiter, Venus, and this is the 10th lord. 10th lord and the 5th lord going into the 3rd house. Some problem with the official area or travel can be too much to different unknown places, or even not exactly foreign, but can be erratic travels due to your 10th house work. And also then after that you can be denied the what you deserve from your work area. That can happen, because the 5th lord going into with Rahu in the 3rd house is like not a very great combination over here. Yeah, it will. One thing about the 3rd house Venus Rahu is that after going through setbacks also, it give you undeterred will to go ahead with your life. You will feel that. Be very cautious in your health department, and Mars is again in the 6th house area. It will go into the 7th house later. Jupiter is in Taurus in exchange with Venus. It looks very good and wholesome from the outside, but it is of not much use, that exchange, because Rahu is, wherever Rahu goes, it is such a materialistically influential planet that it takes over or hijacks the better planets, I would say, in that way. So this Venus, Rahu, Venus, Saturn combinations are not very easy combination. It looks materialistically very good. Yes, it can be. I'm not denying that. It can be good. But whether you're on solid things, that has to be taken into consideration. If in Rahu Venus you're starting something new with your professional front, because Rahu always tries to give a newness or different in a different way. If you're thinking about it, whether the process is right or not, please cross check or understand that, because over here later Mercury will be joining, Saturn will be joining. So it is just not the February month. You have to look beyond and understanding this transit, but it will give you a lot of potential to think and undeterred attitude towards life, that yes, I can do, I can proceed. Dynamic. The arrangement is dynamic, but don't falter with the arrangement, as Rahu is a trickster. We know that. Aquarius ascendant, the second house, Venus Rahu, you have to be very careful with what you say and do with your family members. Money can be spent, because also don't do anything with the bhagya bharose, like ninth lord with Rahu in the second house. Not really a very good arrangement, and you have to be very cautious with the things you eat. With your family members, I mean, see, it's very difficult to say like that, but even the family people are there who do create problems in our life. So be cautious with that. You can sell property and get some money out of it. Buying is not at this time. I mean, it should not be done at this moment of time. Otherwise, Venus in the second house is good, but the combination with Rahu, as I've said in the preface of my video, I do not like this combination with Venus. Venus is a very it's a planet where, again, it is coming with Saturn, Rahu. Such high levels of malefics is not very good for, it's detrimental for the classiness of the planet. It loses its own charm. That is what I will say. And Venus Rahu combination is such, even in monetary factor, the second house, if it's just, I'm talking about money, it'll make you always think about money and it'll not leave you satisfied anywhere. Rahu is not a satisfaction planet. You get money also, then also you feel I can get even more. So but all these factors you have to understand should be in the governing position of Rahu Venus. At least if one of the planets are in the dasha, antardasha, pratyanta dasha, then these results will be more profound in your horoscope. Otherwise, it will be a touch and go kind of a case. So it's a okay transit, not very bad, but certain things has to be understood, that do not do things out of just feeling lucky from within. Rahu does that. Do not utter words which cannot be taken back. Rahu Venus can be like that. Be diplomatic even with your family members. Trust can be an issue. Try to understand and then trust the member, the whatever. If there's a financial decision, or if you're going to sell your assets or certain things, whatever you're going to do with your 4th and 9th house, and even if your spouse or money coming from foreign lands or any business generated in foreign lands, whatever Venus is denoting in your horoscope will come under the scanner. It should. And you should not feel very highly optimistic. If suddenly you feel, oh, I can go and get this, then understand that Rahu is having more effect on that. So be very cautious about it. Pisces ascendant, it is on the Lagna. First and foremost, 8th Lord on the Lagna does two things. One is that it has to bring a change in you, and certain things you have to do away with. 8th house is that. We all know that. Now, this transit is just beginning in the month of February. It will continue till the May month. So, certain things you have to do away with. Now, Rahu does not allow to do away with things. It will create a lot of illusion on your head. Take care of your health also, because the Neech Drishti of Venus is in the 7th house where Ketu is. So partnership can also be, troublesome at this point of time. Now, what I was talking is that when Rahu Venus is on the Lagna, Venus being the 3rd and the 8th Lord, you want to put effort. You feel optimistic. You feel you can do great. All these are good. But then you feel a lot of confusion. The confusion is the main topic now in your life. And if you're anyway running a Venus Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, or Rahu, it will be very profound now. So one thing is that you have to maintain a very calm mind at this point of time. See, all the planets coming on the Lagna will not have an effect which will blast you. No, it's not like that. It is that which planet is governing at this point of time in your horoscope, that planet will make the most effect. And but Rahu, if Rahu, exaggerates the thing, right? So you can feel suddenly too ambitious, but whether it is called for, whether it is possible, you have to understand those things. And eighth lord on the Lagna can take you to a path where you suddenly get breaks in things. Even health breaks can also happen. So all these things you have to take into consideration. Your efforts will be good. Your the diplomatical part, the outsmarting part can be good. But whether the decisions you are taking are good or not in the long run, considering that Saturn will come on the Lagna and stay on the Lagna for a very long time, you have to understand the process and then go. Certain sacrifices or let go you have to do. If relationships comes at this point of time, they will be very much Rahu-ish, and so you can go with it, but you have to be slow. Rahu will not allow you to be slow. And if you go for any deal, business deal, suddenly out of the blue, and you feel, oh, in one day I can become like that, because that is how the combination is, then understand it is Rahu only which is pursuing you. So utmost care is required when Venus Rahu is on the Lagna. If it is in the permanent horoscope, then these people are very clever and crafty. But in the transit, if it is not like that, if you do not have such combinations and you're suddenly into it, then you understand decisions can be definitely make or break you. That's a thing. Be quiet, be calm, try to be, at least. That is very important for Pisces now. So this was the Venus Rahu transit in Pisces. Hope to see you in the next video. I want to make a video on Dasha. Let me see if I can do that in the next week. So take care, friends. Have a good day. Then till my next video. Bye.